It's time for the Jim and Terry Show.
We are the walking dead, the zombies of the apocalypse. We've forgotten who we are when we wander aimlessly. The red pill remains on the shelf. The red pill remains on the shelf. We are the walking dead. Life is precious, but we spend it wandering, wasting time. We try to amuse ourselves with the logic and philosophy of all that is self-indulgent. We are the walking dead. We are the walking dead. Zombies of the apocalypse. We've forgotten who we are, and we're wandering aimlessly. The red pill remains on the shelf. 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 The Jim and Terry Show coming to you. Did that wake you up? Coming to you from the Habitable Studio, my oubliette in the basement where I forget what's going on in the world outside around me. Easy to lose track of time. The land before time. The land the time forgot. Oubliette. I forget what's going on. Okay, the red pill. That's a song that I worked on lyrics and melody, vocals with, adding on some keyboards, some synthesizers, to a guitar-based track by a fellow on SoundCloud who goes by the moniker Wipernet, W-Y-P-E-R-N-E-T, Wipernet. And he's a guitar-based artist, posts all these things, open to collaboration. So I said, you know, this one makes me feel like doing something with it. What was it that I did? It was about life being perceived as finite and death being absolute. Life is precious, can't you see? No, I've not died several times, died 20 times, and yeah, I've nothing to fear. Life is precious, so precious that if we really understood maybe how finite life is, we might want to make different decisions. War would become obsolete, in my opinion, if we knew that, you know, there is no Valhalla, there's no place for warriors, there's no 7 virgins for eternity for jihadist suicide bombers. There's nothing for you on the other side. If you understood that your life is this life, with all that you infuse into it, all the opportunities you give it, maybe we would behave and act differently, treat each other differently, more care, more compassion, more going the distance with people, less haughty, less indulgent. Part of the lyrics of that song is the notion that we waste our time in pursuing self-indulgent interests, things that do something for ourselves without really thinking about community. I've often said this in comments and in blogs and journals that I write. Check out terrywigmore.com. You can see all my blogs, thoughts that I hope have some meaning, some connection from reality and into behavior. If we are not able to make those dots and connect those realities, then we live in this world where we think we can, you know, choose our own thing rather than saying, what can we do to help? Individualism versus community, selfishness versus selflessness, giving as opposed to taking. All of these polarized views of life help us to find our way somewhere in the middle, perhaps, where it's okay to be self-indulgent at times, but not as a way of life. Anyway, there you go. The red pill. I'd taken that from The Matrix because it was common on the, dare I say this because I don't want to be divisive, the conservative side of things to use words like go red pill yourself, as in time to wake up and smell the coffee. I do wake up and smell the coffee, and I don't see life the way many people on the right side of center tend to view things. I don't view it as being victimized. I don't view it as being a woke culture. And I don't see the cancel culture. What I see is a pendulum swinging between views. Views that extol self or views that extol community. Views that lift others up or views that put others down. Views that taxation should be used for the benefit of as many people as possible, as opposed to views that taxation should be as low as possible so that we do without all the services that we have grown accustomed to in Canada. We're not socialists, but we do believe in sharing our taxes. Perhaps, as I have argued with election reform, proportional representation in the ballot should be reflected on proportional taxation. How would that go down? That means everybody's paying relatively the same proportion of your income in taxes. But what it would mean is that there's no escaping a wealth tax. It is a tax on what you make. The more you make, the more you pay. But in absolute terms, everybody, although it's absolute in terms of dollars, yeah, you're paying more, the money is proportionally the same. Would that discourage incentive? Does capitalism promote or incentivize innovation? That I'm not sure. All I know is that the discrepancy between the working salaries on average and the CEO salaries has grown out of whack. And I follow an economist, Robert Reich, R-E-I-C-H, Robert Reich, who used to be in the Clinton administration as Minister of Labor. And ever since I came across him, I've been following his economics and his policies, and I do believe his stats, and they show the growing wealth gap, where the rich are getting richer, the 1% controlling 99% of the world's economic means is a gross distortion of some kind of egalitarianism that was part of the fraternité, the égalité, the mantras of the French Revolution. Why did they fight it? Why was the American Revolution fought? It was fought to distribute wealth more equitably so that the estates, the noble class, would not control the means of the economy. And when the Industrial Revolution took place, it was the new estate, the new owner of the means of production, the cotton mills, the steam engines. Who could afford to build those things? They kept control of power. Wealthy industrialists became the new class structure, and that led later on to the technological revolution of information. And those who control the information are controlling the new steam engine of society. So as it went in the 1800s with the steam engine, where wealth became gathered in the hands of a few, so in the technology field, wealth has become gravitationally pulled like a black hole of power into the hands of a few who control social media. And that's disturbing. So here's the moral of the story for me. If you knew that life was finite, would you make different decisions? If you not feared death, but understood death, that you're here for a breath and it's gone. And from the point of view of Jim and I on the Jim and Terry Show, we look back and we can see our lives unfold like a curtain on a stage, and you can see the whole thing looking back. But you can't see it going forward unless you are a visionary. Oh, for the science fiction writers, the Robert Heinleins, the Isaac Asimovs, those who can tell us what society is going to be looking like. Well, we can forge it ourselves if we make decisions daily. Live existentially. Live as if this moment counts. Live because life is precious.